हरे कृष्ण अज्ञानं विरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः. Hare Krishna. So we'll continue our discussion from Srila Prabhupada's purport. The 6th chapter we are discussing. Didikshु tad aham bhuyah pranidhaya manohridi vikshamano api napashyam avitripta iva. I desire to see again the transcendental form of Lord, but despite my attempts to concentrate upon the heart with eagerness to view the form again, I could not see him anymore, and that dissatisfied, I was very much aggrieved. So, till now, what happens is Vyas Maharshi asked Narada Muni, what happened after your association with Mahabhagavata? So, Narada Muni, first time he is revealing his story to Vyas Maharshi. He is telling that I stayed with them, I got their remnants, I heard for them. So, here we decided to discuss how the progress, especially for us, how the absorption comes. I'll just start from little far to explain. First, to understand that how we are conditioned, how we are in an enslavement, how Narada Muni is able to do it, what happened to him when he heard. So this is, of course, we have these different stages, but there is also how we understand how these stages work. We will try to discuss this today a little bit. We'll just take this purpose. There is no mechanical process to see the form of Lord. It is completely dependent on the causeless mercy of the Lord. We cannot demand the Lord to be present before our vision, just as we cannot demand the sun to rise whenever we like. The sun rises out of his own accord, so also the Lord is pleased to be present out of his causeless mercy. One should simply wait the opportune moment to go or discharge his prescribed duty in devotional service of the Lord. Narada Muni thought that the Lord could be seen again by the same mechanical process which was successful in the first attempt. But in spite of his utmost endeavor, he could not make the second attempt successful. The Lord is completely independent of all obligations. He can simply be bound up by the tie of unalloyed devotion, nor is he visible or perceivable by our material senses. Then, when he pleases, being satisfied with the sincere attempt of devotional service, depending completely on the mercy of the Lord, then he may be seen out of his own accord. So, one point Prabhupada is trying to make that with our mechanical attempts, we cannot understand Lord. Lord is understood only by his causeless mercy. No mechanical process works here, which it didn't work for Narada. Like what I wanted to tell, how this whole chapter we can understand that how Narada Muni became free and how we can also become free, and what is this process. Like we are all enslaved with this material nature. Enslavement is how we have uh, this is a very important topic to be understood. What is this enslavement? Like the whole purpose of culture is to make a person free. We want to be free. We want to get out of these conditions in this material world. So that is actually the main purpose. The purpose to be free. But what is happening is somehow it does not happen. If a culture is lost, then the freedom is also lost. Because what is this freedom? There is internal freedom and external freedom. So when Bhaktivedanta Thakur was approached by Prabhupada, approached him and he said, "Who will hear? We are independent nation. We don't have any freedom. That's why we want to fight for the freedom. Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur is telling, no. That freedom is not very important. All the living entities, no matter whichever country they are internally there is no freedom for them. Better work on internal freedom of free people than the external freedom. Externally, we are all free after independence, but there is no real freedom because internally we are all bound. What is this that is explained? Uh, that is what we need to understand. This is all karma vasanas. This is all our bondage, and we will be forced to act in a particular way. Say now I'm liking certain things, I'm behaving certain way, I'm attracted to certain things. Say for movies or dress or cars or mobiles or anything I'm getting attracted. It is all my conditioning only. It is not that they all needed to me. That is not true. I'm programmed like that. I'm got conditioned like that. That's why I'm going for those things. So it's a enslavement. As such, soul don't need all these things. It is a requirement for body and mind only. Soul don't need. This is very important. Now, when there is research done that level of happiness of people, the person who is more happy, he consumes less. Person who is unhappy, he consumes more and more. And another thing is, more and more a person is consuming, he is becoming more unhappy also. That is another problem. So this psychologically lack of freedom everybody has. They may smile, but this is actually very complicated. Life is becoming more and more complicated, and people think that the whole culture is meant to make us free. Vedic culture and modern culture, it is an enslavement, making more and more slaves. They don't want happy people in modern culture. If modern culture happy people are there, economy will collapse in no time. All because nobody purchases anything, they are happy themselves. We do not to economy to flourish. We don't need happy people. More and more people are dissatisfied. They work very hard to acquire things anyway, which is not going to make them happy. That is how the people. So people become more and more consumers and increase, go on taking, go on taking. This is how the enslavement of people is. You're understanding? And this is why it is, because they are in the karma vas. All these sanskaras, vasanas are so much entangling. That is the reason we are not able to do what. Now, what is the real problem? Here comes why it is happening. This is the main point, is we act for our own sake. And when we act for our own sake, we come into slavery. That's all. When we start acting for our own sake, then we are no more in slavery. We are acting for our sake, so much slavery is there. So people are thinking that I need to fulfill my acquire more things for me, and if my activities are in such a way that all actions are only for my own pleasure, then very soon we'll turn into slavery. This is what Krishna is telling. Yajnartha karma anyatra lokoyam karma. Now, what two things very important to understand, that we cannot stand in a particular place. We cannot degrade ourselves. It's not be that we stand still. That is not possible. Aryan means who progresses. We go ahead, and we should not degrade. But what happening in the society presently is everybody is trying to degrade, because you cannot, if you are not making an endeavor in spiritual direction, automatically we are going back. All people are going towards properly to hell only, because either they are suffering now or they will suffer in future. That's all. Like no matter how much you are famous, how much you are rich, how much we have so many facilities for enjoyment and so many talents, but that is all becomes an enslavement only. We are enslaved by our talents. The talents make us aspire for more and more material things, more and more material fame and name, and people work hard, slog like anything. And there will be some samples which are provided by Maya, who are kept in the society, who looks very successful, very handsome, very rich, and very smart, and everybody want to become like them. They are actually specimens. Maya knows, like there is window shopping. There are so many nice things are kept and people get attracted, go inside, and all this packing material or even the trailer of a movie, it is not the movie, it's just trailer. Similarly, all these people who are becoming big, they are the specimens of Maya, so that everybody will, like, out of 1 billion, 1.2 billion, only one fellow will become prime minister. But all the people, there are many lakhs and lakhs of people aspire to get that position like that. So anyway, what the point I am telling is, this is a, if you know the problem, then we will work for the solution. The problem is enslavement, and how Narada Muni, in spite of going all through these places, he's not affected only. Why nothing affected him? Because all the heart got cleansed. When Prabhupada went to West, one of the Prabhupada's disciples was telling that some Mayavadi people, they actually commented. They said, "Arey, how can you change these Westerns? They don't have any sanskaras, they don't have any culture. It is not possible only. If you take out, he gave example of peeling a onion. No matter how much you peel an onion, inside it remains onion only. The smell will onion only. Similarly, they don't have any proper sanskaras, no culture. No matter how much you do, they cannot accept it. But here, Prabhupada had faith, and this is the story of Narada Muni. If you have the association of proper people, no matter is shown as born as a son of a Shudra, still, of course, from the Puranas we understand, Narada had an inclination from previous life also. But if you take this aspect, which is explaining by Bhagavatam, that he is immediately getting purified and he is able to elevate himself. This is the important point. Now, what is the solution? This is the problem. We understand that okay, this vasanas are the sanskaras are there, and if we want to, if we should progress, and what is the only solution? We have to work for Supreme Lord or for others. Even somebody is working even for material cause, for the country, for independence and all, he will also experience certain side of freedom because he's working for somebody else. That is what is truth. Truth is what real ego is. Reality is we are meant for others. False is I want for myself. So when person acts for this principle, this is called yajna, the sacrifice, which Krishna is explaining in third chapter of Bhagavad Gita. We need to work for others. Then we have to internally tune in this way that I am acting not for my sake, for the sake of the Supreme Lord. So that's why Nityam Yajna Pratishtati. If people say, oh, Lord is everywhere, Lord is everywhere. Lord is everywhere when? When you are acting in the consciousness of Yajna, then you can find Lord everywhere. Because Lord is telling all sacrifice, whenever sacrifice is there, I am present. That is the point. And what happens is, why this frees a person? Because he's acting on the basis of truth. Dharma of a living entity is meant to work for others. Because we are working based on dharma, we immediately become free. I am always served under all circumstances. This is actually freedom. Therefore, in the beginning, we understand this is what is the attitude we should have to make us free from all problems. So we have seen few stories also. So here one of the stories, how Narada Muni, he got this association, he immediately became free. And Sthita Prajna we hear from Bhagavad Gita, there are how he is free from all these what do you say conditionings, which Narada Muni is also exhibiting properly. And so evam yatantam vigne vijane mam akha aghochara giram gambhira shlakshnaya vacha suja pashyamayan iva. So seeing my attempts in this lonely place, so now he desperately tried because he experienced it. He thought, let me do it mechanically. So seeing my attempts in that holy place, the personality of Godhead, who is transcendental to all mundane descriptions, spoke to me with gravity and pleasing words, just to mitigate my grief. Of course, what I am discussing, I'll continue. I want to read few purports and then I'll come back to our topic of discussion because I don't want to uh, I don't want to miss this part also. So overall, I want to explain this concept, which will help us all the time to understand how the system is working, how we are enslaved, how we had to get out, and what are holding us. What is this thing? So I'll just explain. We'll read some. In the Vedas, it is said that God is beyond the approach of mundane words and intelligence. And yet, by his causeless mercy, one can have subtle senses to hear him or to speak to him. This is the Lord's inconceivable energy. One upon whom his mercy is bestowed can hear him. The Lord was much pleased with Narada Muni, and therefore the necessary strength was invested in him so that he could hear the Lord. It is not, however, possible for others to perceive directly the touch of Lord during the probationary stage of regulative devotional service. It was a special gift for Narada. When he heard the pleasing words of the Lord, the feelings of separation were to some extent mitigated. A devotee in love with God feels always the pangs of separation and is therefore always enwrapped in transcendental ecstasy. So now here Lord spoke to me with gravity and pleasing words just to mitigate my grief. Lord is always kind to his devotees. And Narada Muni is very small boy also. And in that way, Lord was quite pleased with him. And Lord is reciprocating. For us, Lord may not speak directly. He will speak through some devotees. He will speak through some different situations. And he's also trying to help us if we are sincere. That is very important. And even he's beyond the approach of mundane words and intelligence. But by his causeless mercy, one can have subtle senses to hear him or speak to him. This is the point here. And because Lord has inconceivable energies, he can bestow this mercy on the living entity. And Narada Muni, Lord sees he gives the standard higher and higher so that we'll be able to aspire for it. If we are in 7th class, he will give 8th class also, he will show, oh yes, I can go to 8th if I pass 7th. So you'll be inspired to go more and more higher. That's the reason in material life, we should see people who are below us. But in spiritual life, we should see all the time people who are above us. Like in material life, say I have a car, I should not see a person who is having a big Mercedes or Benz car. I should see a person with a scooter and I should feel grateful. Or at least Lord is arranging some nice facilities for me. I should be grateful. In spiritual life, so in that way, material life, we are grateful. In spiritual life, we have to see all the time people above us. Array, this Prabhuji is so sincere sadhana and every day he chants 32 rounds. So when will Kabe Have Hobai say the Nama? So when will I get this opportunity to read 3 hours Bhagavatam, chant 32 rounds every day and no strictly follow? That's how we should progress ourselves in that way. So now now what I was telling is now there are 3 problems when we want to do this activity bhakti. What are the problems? First problem is we have this doership mentality, which is the greatest problem. This is the main problem also, we can say. We have this mentality of I am the doer, and that is the reason we cannot understand also all those principles which we are hearing now, especially Bhagavad Gita. Even Arjuna did not understand. Krishna told initially. Why Arjuna? The same reason. Yes, Sarita Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandvat Pranams.
Dandavat.
Can you explain the doership mentality? We see there are 5 doers: endeavor, jiva, super soul. Can you explain the crucial points of doership mentality, Prabhuji?
What happens, Mataji? This, yes. what happens is, see, the soul, the living entity, it only emanates consciousness. It makes the whole body conscious. That is the only thing. The soul is an observer. It is observing on the screen of mind whatever is happening. So now in the night I am dreaming. As such things are not happening, but we are able to see all the things that are happening. As such, there is nothing to do with us. It's all in the mind. All these images are happening, and we consider and we get affected by that. Similarly, the soul is watching on the screen of mind whatever is happening, and it creates certain sort of sanskaras and impressions. What happens is, I will explain. This is little technical. Try to understand. When we are born, our mind starts scanning. It just gets scanning. Everything is scanning. What is scanning? It is trying to understand what is safe and what is unsafe. This protective mechanism is inbuilt in the brain. And what happens is, like now, if you take a small child and try to take a something and you try to put on his eyes, he will only open his wide eyes and open and see only. You don't know that I had to put my hand like this, I had to close and try to protect me. Small child don't understand because that program not yet developed. But slowly, till the age of 15, what happens is our body is developing a protective mechanism. Okay, these things I had to handle like this. This is good for me. This is good for me. This is bad for me. So mind is the brain is getting programmed like that. Like now, these are things I will be interested in. These are things I should not be interested. This is height. I'll fall down. This is now what is happening is my mind brain is getting programmed like that slowly, and it takes almost 15 years to for the brain to completely get programmed. Now what happens is when the brain get programmed, it starts acting on its own. Now the body becomes an instrument. It starts acting on its own. It will say, yes, this is good. Wake up in the morning, do this activity. So my brain is what? Brain is the hardware and software is mind. Like say we have this laptop and there is software which is, and this hardware is also there. This laptop is like hardware is all software. Software is our mind, the sanskaras which are stored, and then there is a brain system. Now, when the psychologists they studied the brain, then they got a very important, very nice observation. What they did is, you perform an activity, and after 1/25th of a second, you come to know that you have performed the activity. Try to understand this point. Very interesting. After performing, see now I am speaking. After I spoke, after 1/25th of a second, I come to know that I have spoken this. That means there are two things that are happening. So there is some part of the brain which says, which knows that you have performed. There is one part of the brain they make you act. Because I got programmed in this way with this body, I perform without the soul's intervention. Soul is only observing. The soul comes to know that I have done it. So this is the where I need to understand that this is Yantra Rudhani Maya. Why Krishna is telling this is a mission. You now for a laptop you program it like no you are already setting. Like when you open the word, not that every time you have to set the text. What is the text size I want? What is the font? What are the sizes of the? It is already default. You open it and it will open. What happened? It got programmed. Similarly, my body also get programmed till 15 years. Always scanning around. It gets programmed, and I am going to act like this only. Soul is only observing, and that gets known that I have did it after 1/25th of a second. This is on. And now same thing. If you go to Google, it already knows what all things you like. YouTube will recommend all these things. Yes, Manju.
Prabhuji, what soul possesses, Prabhuji? Only consciousness or intelligence is also possessed by soul? If everything is possessing by body, body can only do the things, no?
Body
What,
is only doing things, Mataji, but the prana, the consciousness, na, is with the soul. If body has, but there is no prana, the consciousness is not in touch. The body cannot do. So it needs energy. Na? The energy is supplied by the soul.
Then if a person who is in Krishna consciousness, the Krishna consciousness means the soul is possessing consciousness, no? So it is possessing intelligence, and only intelligence can guide what to do and what not to do. So the intelligence is with body consciousness or soul consciousness,
Now I will
or
tell
the
you.
intelligence is in two levels, at body and at the soul level.
It's not like that. What is happening now? First, try to understand the soul, which is having these five pranas, which is the connecting force with this gross and subtle body. Like say now I am touching. How when I touched my body? Because there is prana. This prana carries the consciousness. That's why I know. Say somebody gets paralysis, he will never know that your hand is touched. Prana is gone from there. In the old age, all this prana becomes weak, it does not. Now you are understanding this prana has nadis, which are the subtle forms which carry the energy to the soul. This is first part. Now there is chitta, man, buddhi, ahankara, which are the second level. After prana, these are the things. Now, what is these things? They are actually the programming that happened to us, which we have. Now, intelligence we have, but now what happened to the intelligence? It is completely contaminated with material things. Now, when we give spiritual knowledge, the same intelligence is becoming spiritual now. Now, the mundane intelligence which we have the intelligence, but it is dormant, which is in a very less form, which is only supporting our mind, which is only supporting our ego. But when we start giving them spiritual, we are getting programming ourselves. Now the programming is all material. Now I'll be attracted to material novels, material movies, material things. But when we give spiritual programming, then that is what is sadhana. Then we get attracted to spiritual things. I'll explain. Say now I am going on a street and I see some white substance. So there is something called chitta. I will just share one ppt to you, then it will become little more clear, even though it is separate topic, but I will anyway do it because it will always help. So others please don't mind. I will share the this thing. Yeah, you're able to see my screen, right? So here there are samskaras, vasanas, and vrittis. So now, yeah, I'll share in the group. So what happens is actually, I will just see. This is second part. I have one more part. Yeah, actually many things are there, but I will start with this. So what happens is this prana and all. Prana is all these nadis and all. You may have heard it many times. This is what is the energy that carries. Now then we have the sanskaras, vasanas, and vrittis. These vasanas. Now there are three terms: subconscious mind, unconscious mind, conscious mind, identity. This is uh, unconscious mind is called chitta, subconscious mind is manas, conscious mind is buddhi, and ahankar is the identity. This is the terms, because intelligence and mind and all they are little confusing, but this is what the scientists they use, neuropsychology they use these terms because this indicates more conscious, subconscious, and unconscious, like that. So the sanskaras are at the level of unconscious mind. Then we have asanas, which are subconscious mind. Uh, and there are vrittis also. It is more on a. Now, what happens is, I just wanted to explain. Of course, this is little more detailed. I'll not go in this. But what I am trying to tell is that Yeah. Actually, I didn't make PPT for it. Like for that also with prana and all. Now what happens is these are all the cause of enslavement. This is what is programming done. Now I am going to act according to my vasanas. Yes, this one part I'll tell, then you'll understand. So now we have sanskaras, they are impressions, they are uh, there are group of impressions, and these are like what happens is these impressions they want to manifest, and they manifest as vasanas. So there is no much difference between sanskaras and vasanas in one way. This is a big, large set, and the small part is given to us in this lifetime. These are vasanas. So they are the habit and subtle qualities arise as a result of the imposition of many sanskaras on each other. You have many, and then you are formed. And I am going to act like this only. You will not act in any other way. We are going to act according to vasanas. So basically, what astrology tells, it is going to basically tell our vasanas only. And I am going to act like that only. That means I am already programmed. What soul is doing? Only observing. Now I am getting more and more programmed. I am just an observer. Nothing. Soul cannot do anything. Soul is only observing. But by association of we'll come to that point also. So a cluster or a group of sanskaras of similar order combine to form subtle tendencies, and they manifest as some kind of habits or features of our character. Everyone is born with vasanas, the inclinations and tendencies. So all these desires and everything are vasana only. Now I am already programmed because I have associated with people who are very passionate. I am going to develop, because of the sanskaras, I develop that vasanas, that desires. If I am with sattvic people, that's what I am. If I am with tamasic people, that's what I am. So basically, this is our association of previous life. That is what brought sanskaras. Now, if I am associating with devotees, what is happening? This part will change. Now, uh, of course, the weakest part is vritti. I'll explain more detail. We'll go through it some other time. I'll explain more detail. But what the point I'm trying to explain is how we are not the doer means I am forced by vasanas. The desires are what I am. That's what astrology is telling. The symbolic tendencies of our behavior are seen by the planets. Say if I have Mercury, then I'll say, okay, this person he can speak nicely. He will be interested in teaching. And somebody has Guru nicely. Then somebody has, so he has leadership qualities. So basically, my association is told by the astrology. They are predicting these things only. So they will predict tendencies which we have to manifest in the life based on the previous experiences we have. So these are the things we are going to manifest. Based on the certain symbols, we can read that there are certain combinations which will give us some understanding. Like strong Mars is a fighting whole life. If Venus is strong for somebody, he has renunciation tendencies. So planets are an indication of our personality. They are manifested in the personality, and as such, these planets have nothing to do with it. They are just telling who this person is, and he's going to act like that. And there is Adrishta, which is called destiny, which is going to decide what sanskaras we have, and there is Prarabdha, which we get. So now the main point, I will not take much. The main point is we already are programmed in this way. This is one way of understanding. Now I told about the brain. What is another part of the brain is, see, what is this shloka where Krishna is telling? Prakriti kriyamanani kunai karmani sarvasha ahankara vimudhatma kartaham iti manyate. Krishna is telling ahankara vimudhatma kartaham iti manyate. What does that mean? That means we are thinking I am the doer, kartaham iti manyate. Now, but it is all done by Prakriti. How Prakriti is doing? It already programmed my brain. All the things which I am going to act in a particular. If say somebody comes with nice fruits, how I am going to respond? Already programmed in my brain. If somebody is coming with some smell which I don't like, brain will immediately well say run away from this. You don't like it. So I am a more to different place. That means now important point is after doing it, I come to know. The soul will come to know after the body ran away. My body will respond, then soul come to know. It's an observer, na? After doing only it will know. I'm already programming my body to act in a particular way. Mind will respond in a particular way. Body will respond in a particular way. Then soul will come to know. So can we say that mind and intelligence are one and same on spiritual platform? There, yes, here there is something called heart, there is something called action. So intelligence basically help us to act. And when it comes to this chitta, it is more of a heart. And there is both the things are needed. You need jnana and karma and bhakti. Three things are there. So there is intelligence is more of a jnana. We need knowledge. And like say, if I want to serve Krishna, I use intelligence. What all ways I'll serve Krishna. And then my heart is also the mind is also the which has emotional part of it. And then there is heart, of course we call that the same. It's an emotional part is also needed and rational part also. But in spiritual world, both will function properly. We need spiritual intelligence also. How to Mother Yashoda is also intelligent. She is able to handle Krishna. She has heart also, and that intelligence also. How to please Krishna. Both are needed. Yes, but both functions nicely together. But now it is all contaminated. It's all fully contaminated with material impressions, material atmosphere, and slowly it need to become spiritualized. Yes, Mataji.
Prabhuji, then where is the concept of individuality here when the matter is controlling everything? Of course, it only provides gross body or gross senses, everything. We know that. But where is the point of individuality of contamination? When it is producing, when we are touching with the material things, what we say material nature, we are contaminated. Then we are conditioned by that. So where is the point of individuality of the soul?
Yes.
Got my point, Prabhuji?
Yeah. So now,
Then how? Then
uh,
what is where is the basis of intelligence also when it is controlled by matter?
yes. Now, what is this? When I told here, there is something called. Now that is the reason animals don't have that freedom. They're completely programmed. They will be programmed to act in a particular way. A cow will only eat grass or whatever, and lion will not only. It's completely programmed. So there is no evolution in animal species. They will gradually evolve. They need not work. A cow need not work to go to the next species. It just have to live like that. It will go to next species. When it comes to human species, there is actually that something called freedom is given. Freedom is given. Where that freedom comes is we are given this higher access to this intelligence, this higher intelligence. That means we can start thinking, which is not possible in other species. Now, what happens is, say I am programmed, I am doing in a particular way. If I don't, then I have an ability to think. So, ahara nidra bhayamaitunam cha samannamaitat pashuvinarana. I'll like to eat this item only, I'll do like that. But dharmo hi tesha adhiko vishesha. So, only thing that humans are given, they get this ability to think. So, here the freedom comes into picture, where I have an option to make a choice, which direction I want to go. Say, like humans only are the species who can look onto the sky. We have the special abilities of the fingers. We have special ability of speech, and the language is there. These are some things which are not there in other species, and especially this higher buddhi. Dharmo hi tesha adhiko vishesha means we are given higher intelligence. So this buddhi is possible, and how? Like say, dharma has three parts, which are one part is fixed. When we are born, something we get from previous life, and we are going to act like that only. The amount of happiness, distress that are all fixed. Second thing that gets fixed is first 4 years age of the child. That is the reason we should never chastise or beat child till 4 years. Is just only forming sanskaras. His buddhi not started only to growing. His buddhi starts awakening after 4 years. That's the reason no ekadasi for them, no chastisement, no beating for them. Only love is needed. Even they do mistake, if somebody is get beating or them, they are only damaging them because it is damaging their mind, their brain. They should not be chastised. Only love. And then after 4, when their buddhi start developing, then you can tell them what is right, wrong. They'll understand. Otherwise, they cannot understand. So yeah, I will explain what Vritti. Maybe this is not today. This is a topic of discussion. But still, I will try to. We'll elaborately discuss. That's why I wanted to complete more of our purport so that we'll get time to discuss such important topics. That is what I wanted. So
Thank you, Prabhuji, for wonderful explanation. Can we get this slide, Prabhuji?
yeah, I will share. We will discuss more on it. I'll elaborately discuss on it.
So
Then I
that
will share.
we can revise and make a notes.
You
Please
share with
forward
others
this.
also.
As
Explain to
Prabhuji, as
others.
Prabhuji, can you share this?
Sure, sure. But I didn't explain everything. Once I explain, maybe 2 3 days we will. One, if I get time, we'll try to complete some of the purports, and then elaborate. Then I'll share with you.
Okay,
Right.
this class is shared, no, Prabhuji, today?
This is there. This will be there in YouTube. But
Okay.
I will explain more whole PPT, and then I will try to share it, because you will understand what is with the vasanas are
Because
made.
this doership concept is something like something we need something more about that.
Okay, I
Because
will make tomorrow. I'll make a PPT and I'll share. So I'll explain in that way
okay,
how
and also
exactly.
you have told that meditation thing also you will explain.
Yes, yes.
Okay, Prabhuji, thank you.
I'm going to that meditation topic only, but somehow we got stuck in between because there are so many topics that are given in the Shastra Bhagavad Gita. In just second chapter, third chapter is second chapter only. So much is there. Almost everything is there, and then third chapter, fourth, it is a little more detailed. But this is what is the concept. When we stop doing for ourselves, then it is possible to get ourselves free. This is first point. So yeah. So what is the role of soul and how he can experience? Yeah. So this is what we discussed. The role of soul is it has this freedom. So I was telling this. This one point explained. Yeah, for amount of happiness and distress is fixed for devotees. It is arranged by Krishna. How much happiness is not based on karma. So now here please try to understand. I was telling na three parts of karma. This is by Parashar Muni. Parashar Muni says three things that are deciding. So first is from previous life. Second is what we have, what we get from the first 4 years. The first 4 years is the most crucial part of all living entities, especially humans. Are first 4 years are very important, and then the third part is now, which is going to affect is the association which we are taking now. So here lies the free will. So three parts of karma, two are already fixed for most of us. We cannot change what happened 4 years. We cannot come. So this program is already done. And then now what programming is remaining is what we are associating with. Now morning we are sitting and associating with devotees. So what we are doing, we are changing the programming. Internal changes we are doing, and which is the most important thing. This is where the free will lies. Now I can sit in front of TV also. I can sit in front in Bhagavatam class also. So I have this option. This is where the free will lies, and that will change the settings in our conditionings slowly. The three I told yesterday also, like there is something called our drainage system is so much blocked. Then you pour acid, it clears everything. Similarly, so much contamination, so much bad programming already happened to our system. When we are hearing Bhagavatam regularly, more and more and more and more long number of hours, very important, long hours of hearing, long hours of chanting, long hours of kirtans. These are actually the acid which will clear all the contaminations. This is how the absorption comes. And what happens by this is initially we start doing it, then our thoughts will start coming. So where here Vrittis is there, when I explain, I'll explain what is Vritti. Vritti is the thought process. I told you the change in heart means change in our thoughts is first. So our thoughts start changing. Our thoughts become more and more connected to Krishna. When we thoughts come to connect to Krishna, then Krishna will manifest in the heart. This is how the meditation happens. Like uh, I will just tell one story. So much hard philosophy I'm speaking. Like Jayadev Goswami, he was in Jagannath Puri, he was sitting somewhere and happily doing his bhajan. And then one person, he told to Jagannath that if I get a child, I'll offer it to you. And he gets a daughter, Padmavati. And he goes to Jagannath. Jagannath says, see what I will do with your daughter. I'll tell you what to do. There under the tree, no, there is Jayadev Goswami. Jayadev, go and give your daughter to me. He goes and he takes her daughter and gives to Jayadev. He says, you take this. He says, what can I do with this? I don't have anything. He said, no, Jagannath told to give you. And he tells to his daughter, she is your husband now, take care. And Jayadev goes, what will I do? I don't need anything. I say, no. And then he leaves from there, and Jayadev Goswami is Padmavati. And she's very, very devoted. She's a very big devotee. And Jaydev Goswami used to write, and she used to sing whatever he used to write. And then Jaydev Goswami wrote this Ashtapadi, and then the Gita Govinda, sorry. And then Gita Govinda, and she started singing so beautifully. And she was in some gardens and where she was plucking the eggplants and all, and she used to sing. And Jagannath used to get so much attracted. He said, I am just sitting in the altar, I'm bold. I want to hear what she's singing at. He used to go behind and slowly walk behind her when she is doing her in the garden, and used to hear. And then she felt that somebody is watching me, somebody is coming behind. Immediately she looked behind, and then Jagannath, he turned into some blue color. So he mixed it in the tree, and then he changed. Then she said, yeah, but then she didn't see anybody. And again, after some time, Jagannath again was walking behind and hearing. And then she smelled camphor, aguru, and all this. Then she understood somebody is there, smell how it is coming. Then, without any chance, she immediately turned, and Jagannath, he could not change, he could not get time. And she felt very embarrassed. Jagannath is coming personally to hear. And Jagannath went back to the temple. And then king came, he wanted to darshan of Jagannath. And when king goes and sees darshan, he says, so many thorns are there on the body. He calls Pujari and says, what is this decoration? You are putting thorns everywhere on the Lord. I need explanation for it. If you don't give me explanation by tomorrow, you are finished. And he tells to the pujaris are very much in anxiety what to do. They don't know the reason. And then the Lord only comes and tells to king, no, actually it's not pujaris. I am going to hear Padmavati singing. And I go to the garden and all. That's why the thorns are stuck. Then the king, he calls, there goes Padmavati and said, Lord is going to hear. So you better come and sing. And from that day onwards, every day Padmavati used to sing for Jagannath Gita Govinda. And then Jaydev Goswami, he wanted to offer Gita Govinda. This is actually an absorption. They are continuously singing. Lord is getting attracted. And he actually, the pastime is like, he wanted to write all this, he wanted to stitch all this Gita Govinda on a cloth, and it is offered to Jagannath. And he goes to the pujari, and then, sorry, not pujari, the tailor, and says, okay, you stitch. Said, how can I stitch? I'll sing, you stitch. Said, okay. And he used to sing, and the tailor used to stitch in that particular way. And that's what he did. And one time, Jaydev Goswami stuck with some part, because where it is glorification of Radharani comes. When he's glorifying Radharani, something gets stuck. He could not go ahead. Then he goes away and comes after some time, and he sees the tailor said, I'll do a stitch. He said, where did I stitch? I didn't complete only. No, you completed, you sang. I said, where I saw? And he shows. Jaydev Goswami. So Jagannath himself came and. So anyway, the point is, this is what Lord is trying to teach. We are continuously glorifying, Lord will manifest. Sham Mukundra, you have something?
Hari Bol Prabhuji, Dandavad Pranam.
Dandavad Pranam.
Prabhuji just was thinking on that. You said we are already programmed. So I
Yeah.
was just thinking just a small thing when we change our password on a system. So we always type the previous password for one or two or three times. So means how the mind is programmed. So the soul is only observing, and whatever the mind did for the last many births. So we are means I get that understanding. We are after material things only, and when we come to spirituality, we have to do abhyas again and
Hmm.
again, chanting and hearing. Then the quality of the soul will develop. So is this right understanding, Prabhu?
Yeah, what happens? Some programming is so strong programming, it cannot change. That is the reason we need sadhana. Long term,
Mm.
constantly, consciously we do, then the program can be changed. Because it happened from many lifetime, the impressions are so strong. And in this life also, the impressions are so strong before we came to Krishna conscious. No, Krishna conscious impressions we give so strong. That's why we need yatras, we need to go to dham, we need to. That means exclusively we spend time for hearing, reading, chanting, intense. In the month of Kartik and yatras, that creates heavy impressions and hold us even after yatra also. This is the
Yes,
point.
Prabhu.
Yes.
Yes, thank you.
So here, this is the point. We'll just read at least one because some concepts, they are very crucial. I want to cover them, but I wanted to cover the purports also. We'll discuss some purports, and then I will parallelly try to add some concepts which will help us in a long run. This one purport will read and we'll end. Yes, will not. I will not take advantage of your patience. O Narada, the Lord spoke. This is what Lord is speaking. I regret that during this lifetime you will not be able to see me anymore. What is the reason? He said, those who are incomplete in service and who are not completely free from all material taints can hardly see me. These are vasanas. Some vasanas are still remaining. That's why you cannot see. The personality of Godhead is described in Bhagavad Gita as the most pure, the supreme, and the absolute truth. There is no trace of a tinge of materiality in his person, and thus one who has the slightest tinge of material affections cannot approach him. So these vasanas are actually holding this. The beginning of devotional service starts from the point when one is free from at least two forms of material modes, namely the mode of passion and ignorance. The result is exhibited by the signs of being free from kama, lust, and lobha, covetousness. That is to say, one must be free from the desire for sense satisfaction and aversion for sense gratification. Sorry, aversion of sense gratification. The balanced mode of nature is goodness, and to be completely free from all material taints is to become free from the modes of goodness also. To search the audience of God in a lonely forest is considered to be in mode of goodness. So, what is the contamination of Nardam is contaminated by some tints of mode of goodness, not passion, no lust, no greed, no some goodness. One can go out into the forest to attain spiritual perfection, but that does not mean that one can see the Lord personally there. One must be completely free from the material attachments and be situated on the plane of transcendent, which alone will help the devotee get in personal touch with the personality of Godhead. The best method is that one should live in a place where the transcendental form of Lord is worshipped. The temple of the Lord is transcendental place. So generally, what happens is if you are staying in a very serene, sattvic environment, you feel some attraction. Oh, no more city. I cannot see the face of city only. I cannot see any of these passionate things. You want to be in that sattvic environment. But that is also a contamination. That is the point. More important, where we want to stay, where the Lord is worshipped. The temple of the Lord is transcendental place. Wherever, whereas a forest is a materially good habitation. A neophyte devotee is always recommended to worship the deity of the Lord, Archana, rather than go into the forest to search of the Lord. Devotional service begins with the process of archana, which is better than going out in forest because this is sattva, this is transcendence. In his present life, which is completely free from all material hankerings, Narada Muni does not go into the forest, although he can turn every place into Vaikuntha by his personal presence presently. But it is in the previous life, this is what happened. He travels from one planet to another to convert men, gods, kinnaras, gandharas, rishis, munis, and all others to become devotees of the Lord. By his activity, he has engaged many devotees like Hallad, Dhruva Maharaj, and many other in the transcendental service of the Lord. A pure devotee of Lord therefore follows in the footsteps of great devotees like Narada and Prahlad and engage his whole time in glorifying the Lord by the process of Kirtan. Such a preaching process is transcendental to all material qualities. Okay, thank you all very much. Just 19, 20, 21, 3 purports. Yes, Mataji. Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Prabhuji, in
Dandavat.
today's class, Balram Shakti Prabhuji was telling like surrender should not be done out of fear.
Yeah.
But Prabhuji, like fear is it not the first step in God realization? Because out of fear, who don't want to do bhakti? And these sastras also say, like they describe naraka and all sinful reaction, that if out of fear, if one does, at least he will avoid sinful reaction, sinful activity, and then gradually he will progress in bhakti. So how we can say that sort of fear, because Krishna only created this shastra, and he's indirectly fearing us that if you will do this, you will get this sinful reaction and go to this naraka. So this is out of fear only he is creating, na? And this is healthy also, because in one way we will be fearful, then we will at least do something good only. So I want to understand this, Prabhuji. And Prabhuji today was clearly telling that there should not be fear, and surrender cannot be done out of fear. So Prabhuji.
No, what happens, Mataji? This is at the neophyte stage. I explained this previously in the class. There are 3 levels where Uttam Bhagavata, he sees everywhere Krishna. Vishwam Purna Sukhaite for him. And then in a Madhyamadikari level, he sees the Lord, but he can relate to the things and everything properly. In Kanishta stage is a platform of fear. There is a fear that I will suffer, I will go to hell. This is the fear he is doing bhakti, but it is a neophyte stage. At neophyte stage, that is important, but that is not actually the proper thing. What is Madhyam level is when you come to the platform of Vijnanamaya stage. That is where we will be able to overcome our anarthas. That is the stage where we are able to properly feel that this is what I need. This is the stage of Nishtha also. There we have to grow. Then properly, that means our buddhi is awakened, that surrender is proper surrender. Otherwise, people will come, you can see many people coming to Krishna conscious and they are living also. We say, Are, such a nice thing, why people live Krishna consciousness? Because they are not awakened that buddhi. They have done surrender, but it's on a sentimental platform. They have not understood properly. But what Prabhuji is telling, when you awaken yourself, and that time you surrender. Now there is an constitutional bhakti, there is institutional bhakti. A forced way we are doing, it's an institution bhakti. You have to do it. Otherwise, this is the problem. Okay. I want to get initiation, means I have to do all these things. So it is more on a forced platform, which will not going to last. Even a person may feel okay, like it is. If I don't do, I'll get this problem. Okay, better surrender. No. And then he switch off his intelligence. No, we have to read the Shastras, awaken our intelligence, and then decide, yes, I want this only and this only, and I am doing on it myself. This is what is a Madhyama level, whereas Vijnana is awakened. But initial stage is sentimental or a fanatic stage, which is not recommended for a long time. We have to overcome that stage. Initial stage, okay, people may be told, see, narak ko chala jayega, why you are doing these things and all. But ye zyada der tikega nahi. He has to read.
What will decide that it will last long or not? Because many of everyone in beginning surrender out of fear only, and then gradually, because we are accepting the process, things will purify. We will purify our heart, and we will last on. So what is that some people leave? They are
They have
most
not studied this. See, that is what na. See, Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna said, okay, Shishyaste swadimam tam prapanam, Krishna, I am surrendering to you. Now, Arjuna already surrendered. No, but next shloka, what he says, I am not going to fight. Seventh shloka, he says, I will surrender. Eighth shloka, he says, ninth shloka, he says, okay. Sanjay says, Arjuna said he will not fight. What is that surrender? And then at the end again, Krishna says, Sarva Dharman Paritidya Mamekam Sharanya. Krishna is telling, now you surrender. And Arjuna is telling, yes, Karishya Vachanam Tava. Now, what happened in between? What is the surrender of Arjuna in the beginning? And then he surrendered, but he said, I will not do what you say. And in the end, Krishna is telling, now you surrender. Arjuna said, yes, I will do whatever you say. What happened in between? This is what is knowledge. This is what is awakening. Their buddhi is awakened. That surrender is real surrender, not the initial surrender of Arjuna. So people who are initially surrendering, it's a sentimental platform, which is, and still they continue to remain with their anarthas, they continue to remain with their conditioning. But eventually, when they are reading Shastra properly, associating in a proper way, hearing from sadhus proper way, they will be able to come to the real surrender which happened to Arjuna at the end of Bhagavad Gita. You are understanding difference?
yes, Prabhuji. So like we have to
So
parallelly
now teach
awaken
them Shastra. You can make them fearful and make them come to Krishna conscious, but you want to keep them in Krishna conscious, make them progress and make them real surrender, give them the Shastra, awakening. Then they feel, yes, this is what I need. That is means they have awakened to that stage. Otherwise, they'll remain sentimental and they may give up also. Now they are okay. When things are okay, then they will do what they want. Because they always want to do what they want. Now out of fear they are doing this, but once the things are improving, then they may do what they want.
Okay. Yes, Prabhuji. And Prabhuji, what is this adhikar? Again and again, Prabhuji says that according to
Karma
adhikar,
adhikar, jnana adhikar,
yeah,
bhakti
yeah.
adhikar.
So from where
This
one
vas,
get adhikar? From
yeah,
where one gets
this
adhikar?
vasanas and sanskaras now makes us inclined to certain things. So now I'm inclined to karma activities. So then that means I have karma adhikars. I may be inclined to more and more learn scriptures, Vedas, this Purana, that Purana. So I have more jnana adhikar. So better I go in the direction of jnana. I am more into work. I said, whereas mind and senses, they are not so much. I always get so many thoughts. Better I do activity. Person he doesn't get any much thoughts. He's complete. Sit and read 6 hours, 10 hours, all Chandogya Upanishad, this Upanishad, that. So he's more of Gyan Adhikar. We have faith on Lord. We say, my dear Lord, you take care. I don't know much. This is Bhakti Adhikari. So based on that Adhikar, we try to help them. That's the scriptures also guide accordingly based on the Adhikar of the person. If you are having Bhakti Adhikari, go to Bhakti Shastras, read them, and try to improve your faith on Lord. Like we are having Bhakti Adhikari, that's why we are reading Bhagavatam, all these books, so that we develop our faith in the direction and make it more stronger and progress in that direction. Somebody has Karma Adhikari, say better you follow some Varnashram Dharma. He will not Bhakti, I don't know, surrender and all. I will do activity. I have faith. I need some benefits also here. Okay, you better do karma and then slowly go in that direction. You are understanding? This is
Yes,
what is.
Prabhuji. So by giving this Sukriti and all, we are bringing everyone to Bhakti Adhikar, Prabhuji.
By Sukriti, we are giving everybody Bhakti Adhikar. That's what Prabhupada did.
And
They are
Prabhuji,
trying.
like in devotion, nine process of devotion service, in that also we have these adhikar that someone is more attracted to Shravanam, someone more attracted to.
They're
But
not Adhikari. That is the inclinations we have. Basically, same only. We have that inclination. Now we are all study wala people. That's why we are sitting here. Somebody they say, Arey, half an hour is good enough for me reading. I'll do 2 hours kirtan or I'll do 3 hours chanting. So they have that type of inclination. We are all people who are like little study interested. That's why we sit and try to one shloka also. If it is discussed more detail, everybody is happy like that. Our
by
inclinations
every
are this.
inclination we can like absorb ourselves and purify completely. But every
Basically why we
inclination.
have to, basically why we have to do our inclination, it helps in absorption. Say now if I am told, Prabhuji, you do 3 hours kirtan, I'll get sleep after some time. But you told you Prabhuji, 3 hours padai karo. I said, this is good. So you're understanding. So this will
Yes.
help me absorption. So I better I do this.
Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you for the wonderful explanation, Prabhuji. You have covered very subtle points also, which were lagging. Prabhuji, can you forward the today's video so that
Yeah, it
it's
will be posted in the group, of course. I
in
will
the group?
explain the PPT which I made. I'll explain
Yes,
my
Prabhu.
completely, and that also I'll post.
This
Maybe.
Bhakti Adhikari portion also you have explained very nicely. I have some doubt about that. We should not have that Pandita type means jnana when in the process of bhakti, but without knowledge we cannot progress. We cannot do what is right and what is bad in the as we when we go progress in the NOD, nectar of devotion. That's what we were told. We should do favorably which is favorable to the devotion, and we should avoid which is unfavorable. So in the surrendering process also it is there, no Prabhuji, in the NOD and in 15th chapter of BG, the surrendering process consists of free from false prestige and free from materialist and free from the dualities of happiness and distress and all that. So it is like Uttama Adhikari level, no Prabhuji, the surrendering process. What we are surrendering is not the real surrender. Just we are in the process, in the beginning process, sadhana process.
No,
I
surrender
understood like
is
that.
6 steps of surrender. Anukulyasya sankalpo, patikulyasya varjanam,
The Varjanam,
rakshasya dvishyaso, gotatyavarnam dada, atma nikshepa karpanyam, shadvida sharanagati. All these are sharanagati. If we are accepting what is favorable to Krishna conscious, rejecting unfavorable to Krishna conscious, knowing that Krishna is going to protect me, I have no other shelter other than Krishna. All these things and humility, all these things are steps of surrender, and we are in that direction only. Now,
in that direction
because
only,
we are
but
doing,
I think it's in a small portion. See, free from fear. In the for sannyasi, the first step is the fearlessness, the quality. But it is not fixed to the specific gender. I think it is in the mental platform. But if we adopt that concept, fearlessness, but we cannot take totally 100%, na Prabhuji, because of
no, you are getting confused between our shraddha and our sanskaras. So our shraddha is pure, and process is also properly we are doing. But our conditionings are, we have fear, we have lust, we have greed, we have all, everything is talked nicely there. But the process what we are doing now, it is pure only. Like we are taking our time and hearing Bhagavatam. This is which is favorable we are doing. This is surrender. Now some things we are avoiding. We are avoiding movies. So that is what pratikul. So that is surrender. So if you are knowing that Krishna will protect me, you know that Krishna will protect you. You agree with that?
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes,
Then
Prabhuji.
you have that symptom of surrender. Na? 6 steps of surrender you already have. And do you go to any other person other than Krishna? No. That means you are
Sometimes we
surrendering.
do this, Prabhuji. Sometimes we are lacking in that. Sometimes we adopt some other things. Then finally we sometimes
No. Your adaptation is not because of the faith. Your adaptation is because of conditioning. Say,
okay, Prabhuji.
I am conditioned to food. I am conditioned. I take shelter of food. That is not that I am having faith, but I live conditioned. Now somebody gives me some nice food item. No, lassi
Yes,
they will give.
Prabhuji.
It's very hot, and I'll say yes. So
Yes,
it's my
Prabhuji.
body is programmed like that. So I'll be attracted to it. But it's not my faith. I say, okay, lassi is the only perfection of life. I never think.
Yes,
I said, yeah, my body needs, I'll take it. You're understanding difference?
yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah, it's like that. It's not we want it. We are conditioned for that. We know it is not the only thing I want. It's just okay for some time, and it's not my perfection. But I might
But
have the
by this
desires.
process, we can avoid. We can.
Slowly, we have to change that programming. That sanskara should go away from our system.
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. We already have run out of time. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Tantra Srimad Bhagavatam ki